shot you in the eye, okay? They shot you with a revolver in your eye.
Yes. And that's
Is it a BB gun?
No, it was a real gun, man. It was just a
If
revolver.
they shot you in the eye with a revolver, you wouldn't be talking to me right now.
Imagine this. You're 18 years old, just chilling at home with your girlfriend on a quiet December night. The holidays are around the corner. Life's got its ups and downs, but you're young, invincible, right? Then, out of nowhere, a knock at the door shatters everything. You peek out, and before you can even react, a hand thrusts through the crack, bam. A gunshot rips through your eye, then another. Pain explodes in your skull. The world spins into chaos, and you crumple to the floor. But here's the kicker. You survive. Barely. And instead of rushing you to a hospital, the cops drag you into an interrogation room, treating you like the criminal. This isn't some Hollywood thriller. This is the real, gut-wrenching story of Ryan Waller, a kid whose nightmare didn't end with the bullets. It just began. It was December 23rd, 2006, in Phoenix, Arizona. Ryan Waller, an 18-year-old with a laid-back vibe, lived in a modest house with his girlfriend, Heather Quan, who was around 16 or 17. They weren't alone. Another roommate, whose name has stayed out of the public eye, shared the space. Life wasn't perfect. Ryan had dropped out after 8th grade. No GED, just scraping by. But he had Heather, and that seemed enough. Little did he know, old grudges were simmering, ready to boil over. That night, as Ryan and Heather settled in, two men approached the house. Richie Carver and his father, Larry Carver. These weren't strangers. Richie had once been a roommate, but bad blood from a past argument had festered. Revenge was their motive, pure and simple. They didn't knock politely. They forced their way in. Ryan heard the commotion and went to check. That's when the horror unfolded. A hand reached inside the door, wielding a revolver. Two shots fired point-blank into Ryan's eye. The bullets tore through his head, causing immediate brain damage and a slow bleed that threatened to kill him at any second. Staggering, bleeding, Ryan collapsed. The intruders burst in fully now. Heather, hearing the shots, emerged from the back. Without hesitation, they turned on her, firing multiple rounds. She died instantly, slumped on the couch in a pool of her own blood. Ryan, miraculously still conscious, lay there in agony, his world reduced to pain and confusion. The Carvers fled, leaving death and destruction in their wake. Hours passed, agonizing, endless hours, before anyone discovered the scene. Neighbors, or perhaps a concerned friend, finally called the police. When officers arrived, they found Heather's body and Ryan, somehow alive, disoriented but able to speak. He mumbled about intruders, about being shot. But instead of seeing a victim in desperate need of medical help, the cops saw a suspect. Ryan's story sounded muddled, his behavior erratic, classic signs of trauma, but to them, it screamed guilt. They handcuffed him and hauled him to the station for questioning, ignoring the obvious. The massive red swelling around his face, the blood, the way he winced and slurred. Picture Ryan now, alone in that sterile interrogation room. Handcuffed to the desk, he squirmed in his chair, his head throbbing like a war drum. 20 minutes ticked by, 20 minutes of silent suffering, no water, no help, just the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. He couldn't scream. The pain muted everything. Finally, detectives entered, their faces stern, notebooks ready. They read him his Miranda rights, but Ryan's mind was a fog. "You know why you're here?" one asked. "I have no idea," Ryan replied, his voice weak, childlike. The interrogation began, and what followed was a masterclass in cruelty wrapped in procedure. Detective after detective grilled him, their tones shifting from condescending to accusatory. They spoke slowly, loudly, as if to a dim-witted kid, not a young man fighting for his life. "What's the highest grade you completed?" One pressed. "8th grade," Ryan muttered. "I just want to go home." "You're not going home right now," came the cold reply. Ryan's face was a mess, swollen, bruised, with entry wounds no one seemed to notice. He tried to explain, "Someone hit me." At first, he blamed Heather accidentally, his brain scrambling memories. Then, bits of truth emerged. Richie and his dad. They shot us with revolvers. The detective scoffed. Shot you in the eye with a revolver? You'd be dead. They laughed it off as a tall tale, ignoring how Ryan clutched his head, how his words jumbled. Tell me what really happened, they demanded. Why did you shoot Heather? I didn't, Ryan insisted, tears mixing with blood. They broke in, bow, and arrows? No, revolvers. His story flipped, sleeping holds, darts, guns, hallucinations from the brain bleed. But he nailed the names, Richie and Larry Carver. He described the attack, them forcing entry, shooting him first, then Heather in the face. Suspicion mounted. There's a dead girl in your living room, they said bluntly. Ryan's eyes widened in horror. Heather? She's dead. He hadn't fully grasped it in his days. I just let her sleep. I tried to go back to bed. It didn't add up to them. Why hadn't he called 911? Why the inconsistencies? They badgered him for over an hour, twisting his words, mocking his pain. This doesn't make sense, Ryan. Start telling the truth. I'm trying, he pleaded. My feet hurt. My head hurts. He propped his legs on the table for relief, only to be snapped at. Get them off. Finally, one detective leaned in, examining Ryan's face. Be right back, he said, stepping out. He consulted colleagues. He's acting like he has a serious head injury. Paramedics were called, not out of compassion, but procedure. They arrived, checked his vitals. Looks like it went right through, one noted, spotting the bullet wounds at last. After 56 grueling minutes, Ryan was rushed to the hospital. Doctors were stunned. 2 bullets had lodged in his brain, causing a bleed and infection. He'd lost his left eye, part of his brain matter. Surgery saved him, but the delay was deadly. The infection, preventable with prompt care, ravaged him. He spent 35 days in recovery, emerging scarred, prone to seizures. Ryan's father was devastated, learning how close his son came to death. Not from the shots, but the interrogation. If they'd taken him straight to the hospital, the thought haunted him. Meanwhile, the Carvers were hunted down. Ryan's muddled testimony, pieced together, led straight to them. Richie and Larry were arrested, tried, and sentenced to life without parole. Justice, but at what cost? Ryan tried to rebuild. He lived with the trauma, the seizures a constant reminder. For a decade, he fought, working odd jobs, cherishing time with family. But in 2016, a massive seizure claimed him. He was just 28. This story isn't just about a botched interrogation. It's a human tragedy. Ryan was no saint, but he was a kid thrust into hell. The cops? They saw a suspect, not a suffering boy. Their skepticism, born of experience, blinded them to the obvious. How many times does this happen? Victims mistaken for villains, lives lost in the cracks of the system. Ryan's tale lingers like a shadow, a reminder of fragility. One wrong night, one delayed ambulance, and everything unravels. It's suspenseful because the real terror wasn't the break-in. It was the hours that followed, the slow realization that help wasn't coming. And in the end, it's heartbreakingly human. A young man fighting to be believed to survive against odds stacked by those sworn to protect.